And we're resuming the meeting from last night, the business meeting. We're a little late getting started, but we're resuming that. And I think, James, you said you had some questions.
Well, yeah, I was just wondering a couple of things. For one, we talk about making ourselves valuable to your client. Part of that value is going to be how they perceive you.
Right.
And you know, as you develop your web page, you've always got a blog or journal or whatever you want to call it. And a lot of what I see with different people's web pages all over the place is that photographers seem to be blogging to photographers and not to their market, to their clients. And so I'm wondering if you had any thoughts on that.
Yes, don't do that.
Well,
There,
yeah, but
you would like to see a blog that plays to clients. Go to hold on, forgot. I'm just having a brain fart here. Chris Chrisman. Go to Chris Chrisman's blog. Chrisman photography here. Uh-oh. Let's see if Chris Chrisman is still there. Now, Chris stopped blogging because he basically got too busy, and they're not doing it anymore. Let's see if the blog is still up. Yes, it is. All right. If you go to the blog, hope it's here. Just go back 3 years in the blog. Just go down.
okay.
Go back 3 years. Grab a beer, soda, or what have you. But even this, look at this with the hot air balloons here, right? This is all designed to show clients his capabilities. He's not talking about lenses or shutter speeds or how much power his pro photos have. He's basically saying, look, we wanted to do this cool shot for our book, and this is what it took to get it done. That's what they want to see. That's what clients want to see, you getting things done. That being said, blogs right now are not very hot. So my advice to you, James, do you have a blog?
Well, when I get my web page up, which will be probably next week, I will have a category for that, and I had thought to do some of it.
I would, if you would be so bold as to give me a moment here, I will tell you, I wouldn't recommend you doing a blog.
Okay.
I would recommend you doing a Tumblr. You can still have the link that says blog or Tumblr at the top, but what's the difference? Who knows the difference?
Well, I'm not sure where you're going, but I suspect that if you do it on Tumblr, you've already kind of got a built-in audience because people are going to be going there.
There you go. A blog is opening a taco shack, right? 20 miles out of town on a lonely highway.
Yep.
And you have to fight and advertise and bend over backwards and go slightly nuts to get people to go out to that taco shack. Tumblr is opening a taco shack in the food court. People who are already hungry are already there. Tumblr's audience is built in. I would also tell you to look at Medium, because Medium is hot for who? Who knows? Who's following anybody on Medium? Anybody? Medium is a publishing platform. It's like a public blog. You can go up to Medium, sign up, and write an article for Medium. You can do rich articles. You can embed videos and text and pictures and galleries and everything onto your page. Medium is like opening the taco shack downtown where all the taco people hang out. You know, the people who love tacos. So Medium is a place where you do long form work that is going to be read by art directors, because art directors feel safe going to Medium because they're not going to be beat over the head with promotion, right?
Yeah. So is Medium a paid platform?
No, you can do 3 articles free on Medium. And
Okay.
if you do it right, 3 articles is really all you need, right? And if you think about it as a blog, I run a blog, Lighting Essentials. I
Yeah.
can tell you with absolute certainty, nobody goes back in my blog to blog posts of a year ago or a year and a half ago. I
Right.
could literally wipe them out. That doesn't happen anymore. As a matter of fact, some blog experts are telling bloggers, just recycle the stuff from 2 years ago because ain't nobody seen it.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then you publish something in Medium in January, one in March, one in May, then in June, just take the January one down and replace it with one in June. So
Okay.
that you eventually always have three articles on there. The older article, you can always buy a paid subscription. I think it's $9 a month or something for
Yeah.
10 articles. But that's another place I would be. And the third place I would be all over Instagram. As a matter of fact, I am beating myself upside the head lately that I'm not doing more on Instagram. I am going to, starting tomorrow, guys, I've made a little thing on my phone to remind me. 3 times a day, it's going to remind me Instagram. I may not shoot right at that moment, but it's going to put that message in my brain. Instagram. I need to Snapchat at least once a day. Create 1 story a day. I've told myself I'm going to do that. And I'm Lighting Essentials is going to change from a blog that does about 2 blog posts a week to a blog that does about 1 blog post every 2 weeks, but they'll be big posts, big, meaty, long posts, because those are the ones that work now. And so my desire to get clients for my find photo clients now thing, and find clients for my consulting and all that stuff. That's what I'm going to be working on. That's the whole idea of Lighting Essentials, is the soft sell, and that soft sell is going to be done through lots of long form, media rich stories. Are you familiar? Is anyone here familiar with Neil Patel?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I get his stuff.
Yeah, Neil Patel is he's crackerjack on this stuff. A typical Neil Patel post is probably 4,000 words. I've printed out many of his posts, and they're like 12 pages, 14 pages of web page printed out. Because when he says, I'm going to show you 5 ways to use email to develop a list, he by God shows you. If you went back through Neil Patel's stuff for the past year and read it and archived it and
Yeah.
indexed it, you could teach web development. It's that thorough. He gives it all away at a chance to get clients. And when Neil lands a client, his minimum clients are 25K. He doesn't even start any lower than that. So that's what I would say to the contemporary photographer these days. Instagram / Snapchat, Tumblr, and Medium.
What is Medium?
Medium is it's a publishing platform. It's like a group.
Is
It's like a
it
public
similar
blog.
to we did that assignment for P52 that, and I can't think of the name of the
You did it on exposure.co.
yeah.
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 So is Medium similar?
Medium is more for stories. Exposure is really for photographs, right?
Photographs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is more for stories. So if we go down here, it's like
I say that medium is really used by writers primarily.
yes,
By who?
Writers.
lot of writers, on here. Lots of graphic designers. Here's one on GIFs. Um, the point is that the writers and the art directors, that crowd, they're hanging out here. So if they're hanging out here, this is where you want to hang out. So let's say Jay is going to have Saturday evening off. He's going to go and do something on Saturday evening. You got two choices. You can go and hang with a bunch of photographers, or you can go hang with a bunch of art directors. If the photographers are your friends, then go hang with them. That's fine. If you want to take that Friday night and spend it towards your business, I would go hang with the art directors, because photographers aren't going to hire you to do jobs.
Right. Right.
They're not. And so you want to be where they are. And this is the other thing I think that's been coalescing in my brain as I've been talking about Snapchat. And by the way, it's fun to see your snaps out there. Sam and Stephen has been doing it, and I love what's her name? Oh, darn it.
Tammy?
Tammy over in I love her. She's absolutely out of her freaking mind, and she's adopted it very well. She's funny. That's really fun stuff to see. I signed up for a bunch of people, and one of the people or two of the people I signed up do these real long Snapchat stories, and all they're doing is trying to sell me their stuff. Have you seen that, Sam? One of them was
No, I'm not sure.
one of them was one of the people. Tammy, I think, sent us to. It's a super perky young gal who's.
Oh yeah, I haven't checked that one yet. I need to check that one.
She's just trying to sell you her, life coaching. She's like 24, Yeah.
Oh, is that what triggered off your?
Well,
Is that, yeah.
it could be. I don't know.
I haven't really been on Snapchat today, so.
Yeah. And then there was another guy who Gary Vaynerchuk mentioned, and all he's trying to do is to try to. It's funny because Gary is like on a campaign to stamp out this worthless, 25-year-old social media gurus who've never done anything, but they're trying to sell you a $2,500 class in social media experience. And I told this story a long time ago. We were at a meeting. My wife was taking a class at ASU, and this was for social media. And they had a social media expert come and talk to them about the power of social media. And he was an expert. And by the way, he did one-on-one coaching. So we're sitting there, and he says, well, how many of you have Facebook? And my hand goes up. And how many of you have Twitter? And my hand goes up. He said, everybody's an expert. But he says, just to show you, I have 3,000 Twitter followers. Then he makes the mistake of looking right at me and says to me, how many do you have? Like I'm an old guy, right? I said, I'm 9,000. He's just like, what? So he's teaching social media to people who have more social media clout than he does. That's insane. But this guy that Gary turned me on to, it's just commercial after commercial after commercial. Hey, tribe, sign up because this is the last day to sign up for this, and it ends tonight at midnight. You got to sign up, and I won't do that. But Snapchat would be a fun thing to incorporate into your stuff. And the other place to be is Behance. Get a good Behance going and do not put up at Behance. Don't put up, my advice, don't put up hero shots. Put up stories. put up series, put up, this is like Sam did those the fashion things recently. Sam, that fashion gig.
Yeah, I mean, I've used when you first mentioned Behance about a year or so ago, I did religiously upload every single fashion
Mhm.
story, everything, every set of images that I did, because
Right.
I do a lot of sets of images. But really, the only people that ever responded to me are other P52 members.
Then
So
and the problem with Behance is that you do have to market it. You do have to push people to your place there on Behance because there's so many. How do you push them? You push them through your LinkedIn. You also push them through your Instagram. Art directors, photo editors, those people are young people for the most part. All the fashionistas in New York giving out fashion assignments for, a lot of the medium level magazines, which there are so many of them, their average age is like 28. Now, if you're trying to get a job from a 28-year-old person, where do you want to hang out? At the symphony or where they hang out? And that's my point. That's why I keep saying to photographers, Snapchat's awesome because that's where the young people are. And this is a young person's game in some respects. So you have to know how to be an old guy that shows up at a young person's party, but is respected for being an old guy and nobody thinks you're weird or, dirty old man kind of thing. It takes some doing. It really does, folks. But that's our goal. I don't think we have in our midst, I don't think we have a bunch of young people. I've never had that sort of mystique of pulling in a bunch of 23-year-olds. Most of the people that come and hang out with me are 35 and over. Anybody here under 35 other than Sam?
Don, I'm going to be 50 this
No,
year.
no, 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 Sam, don't say that.
It's true.
I used to be 35.
I was going to say other than Jay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I meant to say.
I used to. So now I guess we're what, the over the hill gang?
Well,
At least people think I'm not. I'm younger than I am.
Yeah.
I've got that going for me.
well, the thing is, most of you guys are doing work, doing photography, and really living a life, creative life that is younger than we are. I mean, you're 50 years old, Sam, and you're out doing fashion photography.
Hey, I'm only 49 for now.
49, sorry. Did not mean to age you. But you're out creating fashion photography. How many 49-year-olds who haven't been doing it for 20 years are doing that? Damn few. Count yourselves as being, lucky to be doing this exciting thing. James is out being a photographer. Janice is in Dallas trying to be a photographer. She's shooting, right, Janice? You've got clients.
Yes, sir.
Yes, she's out doing it. That's really kind of super cool. So if I can, let me go back and recap what I think your day could look like. Get up in the morning, check your Facebook, check your Instagram, etc. See what's happening there. And then during the day, do an Instagram shot if it's cool, or two or three if it's cool. If you're out somewhere interesting and you can get a good shot, that's great. If you're photographing a model like Sam does a lot, Sam, I'd probably tell you to, 6 or 8, because those
I
behind the scenes shots.
sometimes do behind the scenes, yeah.
Yep.
But then since I saw that new Instagram account, well, new to me, the behind the scenes one, which is amazing. I'm thinking I've got to do better. Usually I just do a crappy cell phone shot, but those pictures that they have
Yeah, and
are really well done.
and that young man, that Brandon Harvey, he shoots. He actually takes time while he's shooting. The other one, what's the other one? I got my phone right here while we're talking. another guy who is a fashion shooter, he takes time while he's shooting to actually shoot for his Instagram. Yes. He says, you know what? I'm going to take the time. I'm going to make this happen. And let me see if I can give you his name here. Never remember how to do this. All right, my friends, his name is Lucas Passmore. Lucas Passmore. Passmore. Fashion shooter. And today his post had little videos of the. I mean, he's doing like little slides with his his iPhone, and he's just got the model like doing this little thing. It's only 8. Was it 8 seconds? Who knows for sure? What is? It seems like it's like 8 seconds long. Anybody know?
I think on Instagram?
No. Snapchat.
Snapchat. I thought it was 15, but I might.
Okay.
I think Instagram has to be 15. One of them, I made a video and then it was too short.
Okay.
So sometimes there's a lower limit as well, but I can't remember.
He's while he's shooting, he's actually putting his DSLR down and then saying to the model, let's shoot this for Snapchat. And then saying, let's do this one. Well, you can, if you do a video, you can actually save the video and use it on both, right? I think. Right? Anybody knows?
Snapchat.
Yeah,
You can save from Snapchat, but I don't think you can upload to Snapchat.
No, you have to shoot it in Snapchat, but you can upload from your camera roll. You can upload to Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So he's putting now he's not doing that. He's doing separate work for Instagram. Instagram's all stills for him, and so if you want to see the videos, it's Snapchat. So if you go up to Lucas Passmore today on Snapchat, you can see, I believe, his stuff. Or maybe it's.
But again, this is going back to the beginning of this whole conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, who are you doing this for? Who's going to be watching it? If you can get the ADs to see it, then that's good. And
you have to develop that clientele. You have to develop that that list of people. So in the case of you're probably luckier than some of the rest of us here in that you've got a young model that you're shooting. Believe me, she's got Snapchat, and so do her friends.
Yeah, sometimes I want to ban it. But
I know. I used to make them put their phones in a basket. It's like, get off your phones. We're here.
I don't think we can do that anymore. I think it's gone too far.
Yeah,
Unless I'm paying them a lot of money, I don't think I can ask them to do that.
Oh no! If I'm not paying them, that's a different thing. If I'm not paying, it's my job to get them interested in what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't want to do that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm fine with that. But people who are working for me, like makeup artists, I do tell them, if I'm shooting, you're on set with me, not Snapchatting or whatever. Or if you get your phone out and you can make a video, that's fine. But you're there with me. This is what I'm paying for. As soon as we take a break, do whatever you want. But see, those young models, that will break hard for you. You shoot one pretty girl who's got 25 or 30 or 50 or 200 followers, you're going to pick up half those followers instantly. And then you pick up the followers of them. So it can be done. Sam, it's not going to be fast and it's not going to be easy, but it can be done. Let's see who else is shooting people out there. Virginia is always shooting people and interesting people in her small town. One of her Snapchats just simply has to go viral with one of her people. Then it goes viral from them, and at the end of the long tail, Virginia is the one that ends up with all the stuff. Is it easy to do? No. Is it a formula? No. If it was a formula, it wouldn't count. And that's the thing about it. If there was like, okay, if you do 3 videos a day for 3 weeks, you'll have this many followers. If that worked, then it wouldn't be any value at all. But the people that you want to reach. You want them to see you being busy, active, not on Facebook, like I see so many photographers on Facebook whining about having no business. You want to hire somebody who has no business? I don't. I'm figuring if they don't have any business, maybe they suck. I like the people go on and go, I can't even get my folks to buy pictures from me. Well, maybe that should tell you something. Perhaps perhaps there's a message to be heard there. So you plan your Snapchats, plan your Instagrams as best you can. Your Behance once a month is probably fine. Hook it up with your LinkedIn and make sure that you spend at least 2 hours a week on your LinkedIn, asking to meet people, looking up people, finding profiles that match your mapping that you're doing around your town, finding the clients that you want to work with, they're there, asking nicely to become hooked up with them, all of those things. That's what you do. Write one Medium article every 2 months should be fine. Should be fine. And if you're on Tumblr, tumble 3 times a week. Cool stuff.
Don, I think it's a lot harder too. We've been spoiled on Instagram and Tumblr, at least I have, because you have hashtags and you have you can identify
hashtags are
product
key.
or whatever.
Yes, hashtags are key. They're absolutely key. And I don't know if it was Gary Vaynerchuk or Seth Godin, but one of them was saying, if you're putting it up and you don't have 10 hashtags, you're wasting your time if you're a marketer. It's 10 hashtags is the magic. You've got to hashtag your stuff if it's going to be seen.
Then it takes so much longer. I have to email myself. I have to go to my notes on my computer, type in all of the hashtags, then cloud sync my notes to my phone. And
because once you put a hashtag in your phone, it stays there.
Your Snapchat remembers it.
Yeah.
So you.
Snapchat.
I'll do.
With my work, I always credit everybody. So I have to go and get all that information.
Yeah, that's important to do as well. But see, for you, I would say fashion, model. The fashion hashtag, the model hashtag, you're going to get viewers big time.
Yeah, no, I do that, but I do think about it quite hard because there's a number of, if I do it on my phone, on the fly, then I miss something. So for me, I have to actually sit down at my computer, think about all the different tags I could possibly do. I take it seriously, so it takes me a long time.
Oh, an easy way to do that is that you post the picture, you do your initial post with a few hashtags, and then on your computer, you do another, in the comment, you do more hashtags. And you can do that faster on your computer because that's what I do. And sometimes I'll go back when I see a hashtag that's working, then I will go back to old pictures and hashtag those because I find that I get people looking and commenting on old stuff. Obviously they've done a search online or on their phone, I don't know, but I get a lot of that too. Now that I'm targeting, so jewelers, the story I told the last few days is, jewelry and an engagement. And so I've had some jewelers pop up and looking at the old work and then, liking the new work.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. And once you have like hashtag fashion in your phone, when you hit hashtag F, it's going to be there. It remembers it. So you don't have to retype them in all the time. But I don't know. Maybe Virginia can answer. Virginia, if you hashtag on your computer to the picture, does your phone then pull that hashtag up? Let's say you work with the same makeup artist a lot, and you hashtag her from the computer. Will she show up on your phone?
Well, if you're working with someone a lot anyway, and you're using the @ symbol, and you just start writing their name, it'll come up.
It comes up.
Because it's one of your, usually if you're working with someone a lot, they're also somebody you're following. So, or that's following you.
Oh, that's true. So yep.
The @ symbol will, and just starting to type it in will work too.
Yep. Well, I'm Sam, I'm totally with you. There's nothing I dread more than trying to type on my phone. And I see these Instagram posts where people have, I mean, they're frickin' 20 paragraphs. And I think, how did you do that on a phone?
Also, if you have a Tumblr, if you have a Tumblr or blog, you can share your Instagram posts with your Tumblr blog, and it'll carry those hashtags to your Tumblr too, so you don't have to do that again.
Okay, that's cool. Some of your clients, some of your prospective clients are going to be all over Tumblr. Some of them are going to be all over Snapchat. Some of them are going to be all over Instagram. Some of them only like one of those and don't really care for the other. That's just the way it is. So you can cross-post for sure. No doubt about it. But I really love the idea of creating those little Insta moments for in Snapchat and being able to post those into other places. This guy has complete fashion stories. You know, I'm talking about, you know, maybe 6 or 8 posts in a row of this young lady, this fashion model. He's got the wind blowing in her hair and everything. It's really well done stuff, and it's for Snapchat. And how does he get people? It's because if you missed it today, you don't get to see it. You're done. So people are going there. They don't go to my blog. Lighting Essentials is, you know, or my mailing list. My mailing list isn't picking up any names. My mailing list has been flat for 5 or 6 months, and I'm not unusual. A whole lot of people are experiencing the same thing. Why? Instagram and Snapchat. It's more immediate. It's more, quote, fun. It's not, you know, it's not old. It's new. We can fight against it if we want to, but I think we're swimming upstream.
You're going to lose if you do.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, look all the way back when the SLR camera came out. There were hundreds of articles printed in the photo magazines about, well, this is the end of photography. This is it. Like this, the 35 millimeter camera is crap. It taken all the work out of using a view camera or a speed graphic. You know, that's what real cameras are. And then, of course, then they stuck a light meter inside the 35 millimeter camera. Oh my God in heaven, what were they thinking? Now anybody could be a photographer, and folks, those are the words they used. And then they had autofocus, and then they had P for program. You should have seen the articles. If you didn't go back in photography as long as I have, you should have seen the articles. My God, they were like furious. Autofocus was cheating. Then digital, of course, we all heard digital. That'll never go anywhere. No one's ever going to shoot digital. I'm holding on to my cameras because I want quality. Now those same people don't even remember how to shoot film or care to. So it's all a cycle. Facebook was a fad. WordPress was a fad. Destined for history. MySpace, what? Oh, never mind about MySpace. But everything that comes along, you have the early adopters, and the people who go, oh, I'll never be there. I just won't say that anymore because I'm going to be on Snapchat. I'm having fun with it.
The other thing is being in the game for the long haul, because I'm finding that someone will say, oh, Miss, you did that work? Oh, I want you to do that work for me. Where it's something completely different. So we have a family we do in Canada, from Canada, once here at Disneyland. And I have a client I just did a headshot for, and that work, the stop motions at Disneyland, is like, oh, can you do some commercial stop motions for me? Which is why I made the sample stop motion that I put on my Instagram. But people remember you from different things, you know. So one thing may not make an impact, or they don't say anything, but it's down the line. You know, it takes 2-3 years to really establish a business, and you can cut that down just by being several places consistently. And they consistently, like, since I'm working on consistency, it's actually working better than for a long time. I ignored a lot of stuff.
Well, and what you just absolutely nailed it when you said in it for the long haul. Absolutely, you're in it for the long haul. That's why when I talk to photographers who say, "Well, I tried Instagram for a while, but nothing happened." Okay, you expected something to happen. And I'm going to tell you flat out, don't do that. Don't expect anything. Just keep your head down and keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. Be aware of what's working and what doesn't. If you hit on something and it goes viral, yeah, make a note of that. Maybe a little more of that. But just I've seen today Instagram accounts of photographers I've never heard of with followers in the 70 and 80,000 numbers. And
so how would you see Instagram working for like product?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know that. I know James Worrell is Instagramming like a crazy man these days. And he's not somebody that wastes time on the internet. So let me pull up my Instagram here and see if he's done anything else. But my Instagram is probably 50% people and 50% product and stuff. Ooh, here I have the real Paula Thomas. We know her. Let's see. Ryan Muirhead. That's soft porn. He has 1,068 likes on that terrible photograph. Here's a model who's kind of new to it. She's got 161 likes on one photograph. Arnold Daniel. This is a guy who walks around New York taking pictures of weird people. I don't get his work at all. At all. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's fascinating. And he has 121,000 followers.
Jeez.
Now, there's a woman who fell off an escalator, so he photographed it. Just weird stuff like that. 121,000 followers. I don't know what that says about us as a culture. I don't know what it says about the art. I don't know what it says about Instagram. I just say, hey, that's interesting. I just make a note and go, okay, and then move to the next thing. Michael Clark, the landscape shooter, 11.5 thousand followers. So Michael Clark's a real big-time photographer, and he doesn't even come close to the weird guy who walks around New York taking snapshots of goofy-looking people.
Well, that kind of speaks to your perceived value, right?
Yep. But believe me, I would love to have 11,000 people following me.
Oh, absolutely.
But I have friends that have 10, 20, 30,000 people following them, and not a whole lot is happening. They're not full-time photographers. They have full-time jobs.
Right.
But they did those Insta meets. They're still doing those Insta meets. There's one at the Getty. Saturday, you go and you automatically get a couple hundred followers for the day.
But they're not really following. That's like you can go to Fiverr and get a whole crap load of followers for $30 or $20. They'll fill your Instagram feed, but they're not really following you. They're just make your numbers big.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the fact that Gary Vaynerchuk announced his new book, and on Instagram alone sold 10,000 books. See, I'm interested in that, because even if I sold a book, an ebook, for $3 a piece, if I had so many followers who liked what I did, and I said, hey, I put this stuff out, and I'm always there, and I'm always being your buddy, and now I'm asking you to buy my $3 ebook. 10,000 people bought that $3 ebook. That'd be pretty cool. And so that's the whole monetization thing around his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. It's also around what we're doing. We're saying to our clients, we want to give them as much value as we can. And if I have that many people following me, oh gosh, here's Chris Burkhardt's got a picture of a mountain, beautiful picture of a mountain. He's got 30,822 likes.
Wow.
God, that's that means he's got deep engagement, right? Because I just went to somebody a minute ago that had 22,000 people following him, but he only had 300 likes. If you got 22,000 people following you, you only have 300 likes. You don't really have that many people following you. You just have somebody's got their name in there, and a whole bunch of names are probably from Pakistan and Afghanistan, where they just have these little farms, and they charge money for it, and you go and sign up, and you get your couple of pennies at the end of the week. I would rather have really engaged people, and that I think we can do. I really think we can do that. We are photographers. We make images. People want to see our images. It's what we do. And like I said a minute ago, don't put an ROI on it. This is something older guys like myself do.
Don't put a what?
An ROI, return on investment.
Okay.
Don't say,
okay,
well, I'm gonna Instagram for 2 months, and if I don't get a job, I'm gonna quit. Then don't even bother. I don't know if I told you guys, but when I started my blog, the first 4 years that I blogged Lighting Essentials, I didn't even have a stats package on it. I'd work with clients building their websites, and if they would go, oh, we got to put a stats package on there. I said, okay. They said, well, what are your hits? I said, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. Because I was afraid if I put a stats package on there and found out that 11 people were following me and I was working that hard, that I would quit. So I just wrote every day like 1 million people were following me, and that's it. Just one foot in front of the other. So that would be my suggestion to you all, is to create what's called an editorial schedule. So now Virginia's heard me talk about editorial schedules. Virginia, are you doing a schedule? Schedule your.
Yeah, I got a workbook from Regina online, and I use that. And then I also have pages where I aim at who I want for my audience, because I don't need to have 5 billion people. I just need a few people who'll hire me. And I'm also aiming at people I admire that I want to work with. So Sweet Paul Magazine is one of them, and he already follows my page, which I'm real excited about, because that's a national magazine that's sold in the stores I want to work for. So I'm aiming like these different kind of people, and I make notes on them. Who do they follow? What tags do they use? What do they post? What are they interested in? And then in my editorial calendar, I write the things I want to shoot, and then I schedule, around when I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, it makes such a big difference for all you guys if you simply sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write an article for Medium in April, and I'm going to write it Saturday the 14th or the Saturday the 15th. I'm going to write it then, and then you start putting together your notes. I use Evernote because I can just clip it really fast into my Evernote. I can open it up and add some notes to it. And then on the 15th, you sit down and write it and publish it on Medium and then move on. But if you keep saying, well, I'll get around to it, you won't get around to it. Same thing with Instagram. Instagram every day. Put a photograph up every day. And if you're at a place where you get 5 really cool photographs, don't be a dope and put them all up the same day, because the next day you're stuck at an accountant's all day and you don't have anything cool to post. Don't do it. Just if you get 5 or 6 shots, hold them in reserve and keep pumping them out. I look at Chris Burkhardt's Instagram. I know he's not at all those awesome places. He wasn't like at the top of Denali last week, and now he's over at a waterfall in South America this week, and then tomorrow he's somewhere in China. He can't move around that fast, physically get there. So these are shots that he does, holds in his phone, and then dribbles them out as he's in different places and trying to keep that attention span going. That's the reason for the solid posting is you don't want to lose people's attention. And I think I'm very guilty of that. I'm guilty of doing a bunch of stuff in a flurry and then nothing for a week and a half. And it used to hurt me a little bit, and I think lately it hurt me a lot. And so I've had to go back to this idea of a schedule. Post something every Tuesday morning for Lighting Essentials. And carry on from there. So, Sam,
Don, about hashtag.
Second, Paul, Sam, you want to think about your class? While Paul, you had a question that you posted. You want to think about that for a moment, and we'll let Paul ask his question. We'll come back to you.
Sure.
Okay, Paul.
I was just going to say about hashtags, Don. On Instagram, I keep blocks of hashtags on various subjects in Evernote, which automatically synchronizes to my phone. Then I just copy and paste them into the comments in the Instagram post.
That's cool.
The only problem is I really hate the copy paste mechanism in the iPhone. It really sucks. But
yeah,
but it's better than typing.
Yeah. Yep. And like I said, one of the I think it was Gary Vaynerchuk who said 10 hashtags minimum. If you're not pumping the hashtags, you're just
some people disagree with that. You see people who put 30, 40 hashtags. There's a maximum of 30, isn't there, or 20 or something? Yeah, a lot of people put maximum hashtags, but some people say you should just keep it down to 7 or 8, something like that.
Well, his was 10 minimum. I don't think he was talking about maximum. He said you've got to get 10 minimum on there. So I imagine that 8 would still be in that ballpark.
You got to think of.
I'm guilty of Instagram
that are actually relevant.
I'm guilty of Instagramming pictures without a single hashtag on them. And like it was pointed out to me, if I do that, nobody ever sees the picture.
That's right.
Except people who happen to be on my stream that day. If you hashtag it, I found if I hashtag it just Arizona, I get far more engagement than with no hashtag. And that's just a general hashtag, Arizona. So
Arizona people are real supportive of Instagram.
Yep.
Arizona people. I know the road trip pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's it's an interesting the time we live in. All this stuff is moving really, really fast, and I just want to keep up with it. No.
Yeah, that's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, I gave up a long time ago trying to be ahead of it. I just want to keep up with it. So.
Yeah, I mean we're talking hashtags and hash browns, so it shows you where I'm at.
Yeah. So, Sam, you had a question?
Yeah, so I had this job today where I photographed some work in progress for a sculptor.
Right.
And he's actually doing it's a huge commission, and it's for a National League baseball team, very famous historical figure having a sculpture made.
Right.
So it's probably going to be it's going to be news when it comes out. So I took these photos and he paid me well because it was just a few hours. But I said to him, how are these going to be used? Because he basically called me just before noon and he needed the images by 3.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically came round, we set it all up. I edited the pictures and then he emailed them from my place. It was that quick. So, often it takes me 2 hours to just write a contract. So I didn't do any of that.
Right.
But he wrote in the email that these are just for internal use. And if you want to use them in any other way, contact me and I'll discuss, the license with the photographer. But I know this guy, so he's an artist. So we were talking about licensing and that kind of thing. And I said, and he was like, "How much would it be?" And I said, "Well, to be honest, you'd have to tell me what the usage would be, and then I'd work it out." So I don't know off the top of my head. Meaning, I was trying to like fob him off because I didn't know the answer.
Right.
But in the end, I kind of fessed up and said, "Look, I really don't know. I need help with this. So I have friends I can ask." But say those pictures are those 3 pictures I took today. Say that the team, the baseball team, came back and said, "Right, we want to use those send them in our press release." I wouldn't have the first idea about how I should
I would
suggest
probably check with BlinkBid.
BlinkBid.
BlinkBid, yeah.
Who?
Probably the best quickest answer.
Is that software you have to buy?
It is, but I think it runs online. And I think you can try it out.
What's it called, Don?
BlinkBid.
BlinkBid.
How do you spell it?
I think it's like blink and bid,
Right
right?
there on the screen. So it's all
okay.
It's all cloud-based, but what is the pricing here? But this is the closest thing that photographers have. No, I guess BlinkBid gets their work from Unsplash. That's a picture that just went up on Unsplash today. So you've got solo, well, where is this? Free for 10 days. So you're a solo light. And when it says here part-time professional, oh, bullshit. Unless you're shooting every day, you can easily get by with the light. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, so that's $14 a month for it. And you can put together your bids there. They've got all kinds of suggested rates, your area, your zip code, all of that type of stuff there. So,
okay.
So that's best place to check with. Yep. In fact, as far as I know, Sam, it's probably the only place to check. Unless you had friends at an ASMP. Then you could, call somebody up and get their idea. But I guarantee you, when you talk to other photographers, there's going to be a certain level of BS. Oh yeah, nobody will ever tell you they shoot for $100, and everybody shoots for $100. So guarantee it.
Okay.
So hold that thought. But yeah, BlinkBid is a great place to go.
Okay, I'll try that out. Thank you, Don.
Yep. And a press release shot, you may be surprised at how really little that's going to pay, because they don't send out 100,000 press releases. That these days they send out 800. So it may not be.
But when you send out the press release, then the people that get the press release can then use the photograph, right, in their media.
Yeah, but see, you can't. There's no guarantee of that. So you can't charge them for something there's not a guarantee. So press release photographs just don't pay that much.
Okay.
But just the risk you run, they just don't pay that much.
Okay. I mean, I think I've already been pretty well paid for what I did today. So.
Well.
Anything else is a bonus.
I'm trying to get Randy to come on. He's been swamped, and he's a art director for Lavage here in Phoenix, and they don't do licensing anymore. They're probably one of the top 5 agencies here in Phoenix. They just don't do it anymore. If you insist on licensing, they just simply agree to disagree, and no hard feelings, but they can't hire you. They're not going to do it. That has instituted a few other agencies doing the same thing. What that means for us, I don't know right now, but believe me, when I tell you that the licensing model is on life support, because the business changed. 25 years ago, or 20 years ago even, when you made a photograph for somebody, they had really two outlets, either magazine or print or TV commercial. So if you were shooting something for somebody, it was for some sort of printed thing like a brochure or a magazine or television. So that means that single photograph is going to be used in a magazine insertion for 6 months. They're going to buy that ad space and take your photograph, put their type and logo and phone number on it, and give it to the magazine and say, run this once a month for the next 6 months. Today, they hardly do that anymore, a lot of clients. But today, then, they go, okay, but we also need 15 shots for Snapchat. We need an additional 15 shots for Instagram. By the way, we're going to do a Facebook contest with this campaign, and we're going to get some stuff over on Vine. Oh, and by the way, can you do this and can you do this? Because we've got these 5 other social media platforms, Click or Tinder or whatever it is that they want to run ads on. And the agencies just realize that they have staff on board just to handle all these insertions and try to get photographers paid for all these insertions. And finally they said, no, now you can charge us more money for the shot than you normally would on a buyout. So if you were normally getting $2,000, we'll give you $3,500 for it, no questions asked. But it's got to be a buyout because we simply can't answer the questions for licensing. Like if they called you, if they called you right now and said, Sam, we'd like to use this online, what would you ask them? How many impressions are they going to see? Right? Mm-hmm. And they're going to say, we have no idea. We're going to go from blog to blog and see if we can place it here and place it there. And, they have no idea. And so it becomes a nightmare. So I'm not saying that I am, that I'm in for it or in favor of it. And I'm also not saying that it's a good thing. I'm just saying that it is on life support. And so we need to figure out, we as a family of photographers need to figure out how we're going to deal with that in the future and how we're going to monetize as we get out there. At the same time that we're kind of watching this licensing thing go away, we are also witnessing so many other places to put our photography that it's mind-boggling. So there's more and more clients. So I would say to you, pragmatically, Sam, do you want to work with this baseball team?
Phone service.
Huh?
Your audio's going in and out, Don.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me move the mic. How's that?
That's good.
Gotcha.
All right. So I would say, Sam, how bad do you want to work with this baseball team? If you really want to work with them, you have to weigh it. Is it worth hassling them for what you could get, $50? Or is it like, how can I help you in the future? I really want to work with you guys. Can you get me in to see the GM or whatever? All kinds.
Yeah, well, it's not actually, it's not a local baseball team. So it's, my chances of working with them in the future is they're in a different city.
Well, but your chances of working with that artist are pretty good.
Yeah, but he really likes me anyway, so I'm not worried about that relationship.
There you go. Okay. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Then you just have to play it by ear. I wish there was some sort of standard by which we all got to work and we all got to deal with the value of what we do, but there isn't, folks. There just isn't. And you know who's the worst enemy we have? Anybody know? Who's the professional photographer's worst enemy? Absolute worst.
Himself.
Us.
Themselves.
Yeah, us. Other photographers. Because if other photographers weren't giving it away, Sam, it would never be an issue, would it? Just would never be
It's
an
true.
Time Magazine came out with this terrible, terrible contract, and all the photographers said we won't sign it. Is Time Magazine on the stands today? Yep. Are there photographs in it? Yep. So.
Yeah, and there always will be, because somebody's always going to be willing to do that.
Yep. And so that becomes a real challenge for us folks. A real challenge. Like I say, I don't even know the answer. I work hard to get a fair price for my work. I want a fair price. If it's an ad agency, we're going to talk about licensing. But if it's if it's Lavage out there in Scottsdale, I know now. I don't even bring it up. I just add $1,000 or $2,000 to my bid. And if I don't get it, I don't get it. You know? So who else has got something?
I have a question, Don. I went to a American Society of Media Professionals meeting here a couple weeks ago, and there was a guy named Jeff Noble. I don't know if you know him or not.
I know Jeff, yes.
Yeah, so he does a thing called Creativa, in which he puts out a little booklet which has photographs from I don't know, maybe 20, 40 people in it.
Yep.
And then you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I was wondering what you thought about.
I don't think very much of it at all.
Okay.
It's old media. It's the old workbook thing.
Okay.
Clients aren't reaching for it. Have you seen the California Workbook or the New York Black Book? You ever seen an issue of that?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I have some black books in the garage. I'm going to get them out and photograph them for you guys. They were like, I want to say 6x9 or 6x10. They were kind of a smallish but tall, thin publication. And the last physical one I got a 2-book set. One was the East, one was the West, and they were both 5 inches thick. Now here's the kicker. You had to have your artwork into them and pay for it 9 months before it came out. 9 months. So the 5 shots you have in the workbook are shots you did 9 months previous to that. Who does that? Jeff Noble's book's like 5 months lead time. Hey, 5 months from now, I got all new pictures.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He has a website too.
Yes, and when the clients are going to the web, and clients are going to Instagram, I mean they really are looking for new talent on Instagram. When that's happening, I don't know where that book fits in. It's old media, but that's Jeff. Jeff is old media, and that's there's he has 40 photographers in it now. The very first time he put it out, there must have been, oh gosh, at least 180 pages. Now it's down to 40. So, would you book a ticket on the Titanic, knowing what you know now? To me, it's like being helicoptered out to the Titanic while it's sinking. Because you got a good deal on the ticket. It's sinking, yeah, but honey, we got tickets at half price.
And it's the maiden voyage too.
It's a maiden voyage. What could go wrong? So yeah, I don't think much. The workbook doesn't. The black book doesn't print anymore. The California Workbook doesn't print anymore. It's all online. And Jeff and those guys have tried to put the local stuff online. It just doesn't work locally. It just doesn't work. And I'm not a naysayer. I'm not a poo-pooer. If it worked, God, I would tell you in a heartbeat to do it. but it just, it's just not the place to be. And it's expensive.
Okay.
And it's expensive, Jay.
Well, I mean, you can get into it for a couple hundred, like $200 for a quarter page or something.
Yeah, and you don't want a quarter page, and I think the full pages are like $1,500, right? Color?
Something like that.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, it's like saying, okay, well, I want to be in this thing, but I'll buy a classified in the back. If all you can afford is a classified, save your money and go get a burger, because you'll get more satisfaction from the burger. It's not how people look for. Nobody goes on to any one of those books looking for somebody who could only afford a quarter page ad. If you get my drift.
Got it.
You've already self-sorted.
Well, I'm glad I met him, and I'm glad we talked about it. It's an interesting. He does a nice job with his book, but it's a question of how much mileage you get out of it.
Absolutely, class act all the way. Nice guy, good shooter.
Right.
Been around Phoenix for a long, long time. And nice guy, good shooter. But my feeling on that kind of marketing is no. That'd be the same thing as somebody trying to say, well, what you're going to do is we're going to print 10,000 postcards and send them out all over the country. I've got a better idea. Why don't you take $9,000 and burn it? Because that would be more fun. That's not how it's done anymore. It's just not how it's done. We used to be on the receiving end. I was creative director for an ad agency for 8 or 9 years, Jay, and I would get this stuff in the mail, and it would be, motorcycle racing photographer. We've got tons of fashion stuff. We did medical technology. And we rarely ever got anybody who sent us medical technology work. We got everything under the sun because they weren't targeting, they were just shotgunning. It's like how I play pool. If I hit the ball hard enough, it's got to go in somewhere. It's like, and there's no market in that. Anything else?
Well,
anybody else got something?
Hey, Don, are they still printing your books on Amherst?
I do not know. I haven't heard from them. I'm serious when I say that. I have not heard from them. Why, are they out of print?
Well, I was on Amazon the other day, and it says that they're out of stock. And they don't give you an estimate as to when they're going to have them.
That may be. They may be out of stock. If they stop printed, it'll say out of print.
Oh, okay.
That was an interesting chapter in my life, and someday I'll write about that. Because I got to tell you, it's not. If one of you guys came to me and say, "Hey, Don, I've been contacted by such and such publishers to write a book. Am I going to do okay with it?" I would absolutely tell you, go get a burger. It just, I made more money from my Udemy class the first month it was on Udemy than I made from all 3 of my books put together. Does that tell you anything?
So who took the money? The publishers?
Publishers. It's just an expensive business. I get if it sells for full price, $29.95, I get $1.63.
Oh my God!
Holy cow!
Yep.
Well, I can see why e-publishing is getting so big.
Yeah. Gary Vaynerchuk.
I mean, you do an ebook, and you can market it yourself, and then it's yours.
Well, it was funny listening to some people one time talking about David Duchemin. He sells his books for $5. They're like, $5? Like, why would he do that? I was like, well, I don't know. It's 4 times more than I made.
Yeah.
He sells it for $5. He gets, $5.
Yeah, but people don't think when they say $5. I mean, look, if I'm looking for a book on a specific subject and I've got a choice of buying a what appears to be a well-written ebook for $5 or buy a hardback for 25, I'm probably going to go with the ebook. Okay, so he prices that ebook that's sellable, and he sells tons of them. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's where his money's at, is in volume. It's like these guys that create these actions that they sell for $3 to $5. You look on there, some of these guys have sold 300,000 copies of that action. You know, for $3 or $5. I mean, that's some serious bank.
It absolutely is. I used to tell photographers create back in the. I remember if you remember back in the day, the CDs, like stock image CDs.
Yeah.
They were pretty much everywhere for between $100 and $129. And I told a bunch of photographers at ASMP. I presented this. I said, you know, do a CD. It's 100. You put 100 images on a CD of 100 images of the Grand Canyon, 100 images of the desert, 100 images of storms, that kind of stuff, and you sell them for $100. And they're saying, well, I'm selling a picture for $1. I'd say, no, you're selling a CD for $100. They couldn't do it. They could not wrap their arms around it. And I watched people, photographers in LA, do a CD on one did women's hands and men's hands, 50 on black, 50 on white, and they were just like pointing this way or palms up, palms down, silhouette, all 50 shots of hands, pretty female hands, good looking male hands, and the guy sold something like 65,000 copies times $100. Do the math.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, I said, well, what if you had 100 shots? What if you could get $300,000 for 100 shots? Would you do that? Oh, yeah. Well, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about selling 3,000 or 30,000 of these CDs. You made $300,000. You don't get that? I don't. Oh, well. That's why I'm saying about Snapchat is we have to stop thinking the old model of I make photographs and I keep those photographs so that I can share them later. And I'm just as bad as anybody else. I have hard drives full of pictures that I'm never going to do anything with.
And you're never going to go back and look at them. Nobody else is either, and yet you don't delete them. You don't throw them away.
Nope. I still have boxes and boxes of sealed boxes full of 3-ring binders with negatives and contact sheets on there of models in bikinis who are probably grandmothers today. And what am I going to do with those? I don't have a model release, but yet I don't throw them away. The pictures become like our children to us. And now Snapchat is now saying, oh yeah, your pictures aren't your children anymore. They're just something you make. And it's really, really hard. It's really hard to say, okay, I'm gonna do this cool thing. I'm gonna give it out there, and it'll be gone tomorrow. It's like saying, oh, by the way, your hard drive is gonna crash every day. Yeah. Oh yeah. Boy, sign me up for that.
Yeah, you're abandoned children.
It kind of almost seems when you look at it that way and you think of it from our perspective, it kind of almost makes your work almost seem worthless, because we associate longevity with value, and Snapchat says no, the value is in the immediacy of the content, not its longevity.
That's right. Snapchat is saying,
and that's a different way of thinking.
Snapchat is saying, look, Don Pruitt, James Kern, Janice Eddington, Jay Chatskill, Kelly Hicks, Sam Breach, Paul Campbell, So Fong in Virginia are all at a, where would we be? Well, we'd probably be at TGI Fridays. Let's go with that. And we're having a conversation. Nobody And we end up solving. You know how after the third beer we've solved all the world's problems, right? If
Right.
they just we're done. We've fixed poverty, hunger. We're all. But there's nobody at the table writing what we say down. There's no one.
Yeah.
No one's gonna. We're not gonna go home and get an email from Jay who said, "Well, here's what everybody said." We don't archive that. Well, that's what Snapchat is. It's that. There doesn't need to be an archive. It's today. We're having this chat today. Boom, done. Now I'm recording this, obviously, because it's important. But that's my promise to you is I'll record it. But if we're just having a conversation, we don't record it. I talked to Steve Collins today for probably 45 minutes. We didn't record it. So why do I have to record a Snapchat with him? I don't. I just have to say, and by the way, those of you who may not know, Snapchat added a whole bunch of stuff to Snapchat. So now while I'm talking to you, chatting with you on text, I can slip a video in, and I can slip a photograph in, and I can snip a chart in, and an emoji and an audio file. I can actually push the button on my phone and say, "Oh, you gotta be kidding to me," and that'll go right into your chat window, an audio file. So what it is it's a conversation, a rich media conversation that is as immediate as us sitting around that bar bar table. That's it. Once you realize that, then everything makes sense, and you don't worry about the archiving anymore, right?
That's a really good description of it. That kind of puts it all in perspective and makes it make more sense to me. Thank you.
It does, and that's because I'm brilliant.
So is that on Snapchat, Don?
No, I actually everything I say in my office is recorded for posterity. So yeah.
My
People will be
office looks like that.
going back through my logs someday and hearing me say stuff like, "Where the fuck are my keys?" It'll be great. Just be dandy. No, I think it's an interesting world we live in, and I think there are so many opportunities out there. Now, I'm not going to ask, but I hope that you guys take this to heart. The printed one has space for you to fill it out, and I do hope you take the time to fill it out. If you do, it will help. I promise it will help. It'll help you start to identify where your targets are, where your markets are, where you should be putting your time. It'll just solidify that in your brain. So please do it. So any other questions? Wow, we stayed up late. We're like adults. We're like grown-ups.
Don, thanks for your time, man.
Very welcome, guys. Very welcome. I'll get both of these videos up. Was it worth it? Good.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Good conversation.
What's that?
It's a lot to digest.
Was that Virginia? Virginia, you say something?
Yeah, I said it was a good conversation. It was
Good.
Informative, and I got a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm glad you did. And interestingly enough, we have a recording of me saying you don't have to record shit. So that'll be really interesting, won't it? Yeah. Anyway.
And we also now know what you say when you can't find your keys.
Oh yeah. I'm now James, what is Don's number one priority within the next year? I have a grandbaby.
True story.
I'm going to have to clean up my potty mouth.
That's true, because otherwise your daughter is going to be on you like stink on a June bug, man.
Oh yes, she's already said, "Dad." I'm like, well, she's 11 days old. She can't understand it, Dad. Okay, all right. it's just going to be really hard. But I can muster up for that little sweetie. I'll just have to do more when I'm out writing.
There you go.
Because nobody can understand me when I'm out writing in that helmet. It's like, sorry. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one.
Okay.
And we'll,
Thank you. Good talk.
Yep, we'll
Good
see you
everybody.
first thing in the
Thank
morning.
you,
Take
Don.
care now. All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.